And welcome to Driving Double Feature Podcast. I'm Nathan.
Hi, Ryan.
And this is the podcast where we talk about 2 movies a week every Tuesday and Thursday. And getting into today's movie, we continue our John Carpenter retrospective by going all the way back to 1979 and talking about Elvis. Yes, John Carpenter made an Elvis movie with Tom Hanks. That's probably the most notable one.
Yeah, like Master of Horror, I was like, oh, finally, we finally get like an Elvis themed horror movie. It's just,
Yeah.
we finally get like the ghost of Elvis here, and
Mhm.
he's like haunting people. Like he like goes after Colonel Tom Parker.
That
So
would
like,
actually be a pretty cool movie now that I think about it. Like Elvis finally takes back that famous occurrence where he attacks the photographer or throws shit around. He throws stuff around. He actually kills somebody in that time.
yeah, yeah, and like you said, Tom Hanks is back playing
Little
Colonel
Tom
Tom
Parker.
Parker.
Of course. It's a great performance.
Yeah.
No, of course we are talking about, well, we're kind of mixing in the recent Elvis movie with Austin Butler, which we talked about. I think we talked about it on the podcast.
Oh yeah, didn't we? Yeah, did we do that on Elvis Week or whatever?
Yeah, I know we definitely brought it up during Elvis Week, which was this year. So this is kind of the year of Elvis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we're back at him again. So I was interested. So I was going. I'm trying to think about how to tackle this movie because it is really long. It's about 2 hours, 40 minutes long, and I don't know if you felt this way. It was probably one of the most plain recounts of Elvis's life I've ever seen. Right? Like it's like if you want to know about Elvis from a kid to Vegas, then you can watch this movie and it'll just tell you everything. It's very simple by design. So,
Very, very sanitized look at his life.
oh yeah, very sanitized. So I kind of want to we'll talk about the movie, but I think it's also interesting maybe in comparison to other Elvis movies like the recent Elvis or even Priscilla. Did you see Priscilla?
I did not know.
Okay, because that one's definitely a more damning look at Elvis. Because whereas like Elvis, the new one, the Baz Luhrmann movie, it's not. I wouldn't say it's completely sanitized, right? But it's still a very positive look at the man. Priscilla was quite the opposite, kind of a little more damning of a look at the man. So getting into it, we have well, actually, sorry, no, the opening is the end of the movie, one of my favorite things to see, where Elvis has an assassin that is like planning on killing him, so a bunch of bodyguards are protecting him. um
Some weird plot point about him having an assassin that overall doesn't have any payoff at all.
I thought that was really odd, that like how the assassination wasn't even really a plot in the movie. It gets brought up in the beginning and it actually kind of doesn't come up in the end either. And then there's like a weird scene where Elvis is watching Lee Harvey Oswald get shot after he kills JFK, and he's just like, "Oh, well, all they want to do is come and kill me. They want to get me." It's
Yeah. Yeah, and he's like, I don't blame Jack Ruby one bit. Like,
yeah. He's like, I love Jack Ruby. It's so, other than that, that's like kind of like an odd thing. I don't know why that was even included in the movie. Um, but after that, we get the ending and then we flash back, and that's when we kind of get Elvis's life from childhood. You get the story of him um being he had a twin brother who died at birth, and it was just him, and how he speaks to the
Jesse
twin brother.
Guerin.
Yeah, Jesse
That's how they say it.
Garrett. Yes, Jesse Guerin, and he gets bullied for it. There's like some kid that punches him over this because you're
Yeah.
crazy, Elvis.
Yeah, they're like, oh, crazy Elvis. He's like, I'm just talking to my brother, Jesse Guerin. And it's like, you ain't got no brother.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
And
yeah, I do.
that And they fight, but like that bully kid like just punches Elvis like one time and he is out, like KO.
Yes.
Like he's just like
Yeah. And there's one depiction of Elvis that I kind of like here is that he was bullied when he was younger. They really go into that. Like they have like kids in the high school bathroom hold him down as they try to cut his hair. He's kind of like a weirdo loser for the beginning of the movie.
yeah, they're like nobody dresses like that. He's got his hair way too long. He's got these
Mhm.
goofy sideburns. Like we don't take kindly to your long sideburns here in Memphis, Tennessee.
No one does
And
that in Memphis. Yeah, it's really funny. Uh
uh, no, I thought it was so like I was trying to do some a little bit of research because I looked it up and I'm like, how old is he supposed to be like in like in these high school scenes? And I don't think he's supposed to be all that old. I think he's only supposed to be like
yeah.
15 or something like that.
That's why I was like I was expecting because movies that go from childhood to teenage years to stardom, usually you get a different actor for teenager as well, but Kurt Russell does play the teenage version of Elvis. And I think it does make it a little weird because they don't make Elvis look younger, in my opinion. He looks like Kurt Russell. And then when he becomes older and much older, he actually doesn't really become the fat Elvis that we would know. They don't do that depiction. He looks older and maybe a little more washed up, but he just still looks like Kurt Russell. They do not really do fat Elvis in this.
No. And he doesn't really change his look at all. I mean, one thing we could say about this movie is that, it did start the partnership between Kurt Russell and John Carpenter because this would start like a
Mhm.
really long friendship between the two that they'd collab a lot on other movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, One thing too, I read about this movie, like the whole reason John Carpenter got the job for this is because he did the music for Halloween. They're like, oh, well, he's a music guy, so like this would be perfect. He can
I
direct a
did not
music
read that.
movie.
Interesting. He was there, yeah, because Halloween's music is just like
It,
just like Elvis's music. He's
yeah,
if Elvis were alive, he would have seen Halloween and be like, "Oh, I need him for a backing track. I need
I
to
know.
get him in the studio."
That's the real tragedy is that Elvis died before Halloween came out.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree. Which that's something to note is that this movie is made in 1979. So we're still pretty close to Elvis Presley being having passed
It's still
away.
fresh.
Yeah, he had died 2 years ago, 1977 at this point. So the fact that it's a sanitized version, I think, is more relative to the country just now getting over Elvis dying. It still was one of the most iconic American people. It wasn't going to be a damning portrait of Elvis, I don't think.
No, it at no. I mean, like Elvis, of course, had his vices, and he
Hmm.
had a very like he did live like kind of fast at some points where he just would have like a bunch of women or um drugs or anything like that. And this one, like the negative thing in here is that he has like a bad temper sometimes and
Hmm.
uh he works too much.
Yeah, and it always feels justified his anger, right? Like because at least some of the times, because like the one part where he gets really angry is because he's singing with a group of men and they turn them down way low, so it's just Elvis's voice, and he's just throwing stuff around and angry because they changed my music tracks. I'm a creative, and Priscilla is even like, "Oh, that's okay, Elvis. You need to get it out. It's okay." It does display their marriage problems. That's a big part of the movie. This is skipping way ahead, but I think with this one we got to skip around. Uh, my fiance and I were most interested in how they were going to handle Priscilla in this movie because she was underage. It was a legal marriage in their state, but she still was teenaged and she was related to Elvis. So it's a bit of a weird gray area, right? So we were wondering how this movie would treat it. They do bring up that she's underage and that Elvis took her under her wing, but it's played like very easygoing because he's like, oh, it's really hard to not think of you as a child. And then Priscilla's like, oh, well, then don't think of me as a child. And it's like, oh, it's that
Yeah.
easy. Okay.
100% justified. She says it's fine. He says it's fine.
Yes.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and we get
Um,
we get the scene, of course, that Priscilla's dad's like, yeah, yeah, you can take care of her. I'll send her over, which did happen, but it's definitely like it feels more. It's like we got to justify this.
yeah, well, I mean, they at no point like they don't get like an underage actress at the very least.
No,
They do get somebody that's of age.
yeah,
So,
which is my fiance. Her big thing was like because it's Season Hubley plays Priscilla, who we actually have covered before. She was Princess in Vice Squad, if you remember that classic movie. But the look on your face, I love referencing random ass movies that we watched. uh, but anyway, she does not look underage. She doesn't look young like at all. So they definitely they felt like they were aging her up a bit.
yeah, they definitely were doing it to make it like seem okay. And but like at one point, like she like shows up later. She's like, you treat me like she's like, even though I'm only 22, I feel like an old woman.
I know so much about life at 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
uh, but yeah, no, they, I mean, like, at first when they start dating, like, they're like really in love with each other, but I just didn't really, s- I didn't really see that much chemistry between like the two actors,
No,
honestly.
it made a lot of sense to me that they were falling apart or that they were breaking up in the end because I agree. I don't think they worked together. They felt very separate. It felt like by the time they started dating, it was already crumbling. But like I'm pretty sure they both loved each other deeply. At least from an outsider's perspective. But here it feels like they get together, they have a little bit of romance, and then it's instantly like, Elvis, you work too hard. There is a lot of gaps in this movie for 2 hours, 40 minutes. There is a part of this movie where he gets famous, and then it almost suddenly becomes Elvis isn't famous anymore, you know?
Yeah. That's the only thing. Like they have like this weird sudden drop off where he's just like people are just like Elvis is past his prime, and like because even at the beginning of the movie, because he ends up shooting his television because there's a
Mm-hmm.
reporter talking about like Elvis is doing his big comeback tour.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why he's doing that because if you look at polls, he's actually less popular than the Beatles, which it's like the Beatles at that point were
Mm-hmm.
already done. So
Yes.
uh, it's almost just like Elvis is already like past his prime sort of thing.
Yeah, and it's like it's do or die for Elvis, right? Yeah, so it just feels like we skip a part. It really focuses hard on the young portion, the rise of Elvis. Focuses on him and his mom, played by Shelley Winters, who is fine in this movie. I saw like particular praise towards her. I don't know, and like I don't see a lot of praise towards Kurt Russell in this movie. I kind of get it. I don't know. So I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's bad at all in this movie. And he'd go on to do Elvis again as an impersonator. But I guess I never felt like he really took on the role. Like he did the voice, he did some of the mannerisms, but he wasn't like, it didn't feel like transformative, I want to say.
Yeah. So he did actually get nominated for an Emmy for this
Really?
role.
Okay.
So he was he did get praise for it, and that is like one of like the things about this movie. I've at least what I saw is that
Okay.
people did praise his performance, but I actually agree with you though. Like I don't
Hmm.
really feel like he did anything with the role. Like you said, he's not bad in it. I mean,
No.
he's got the mannerisms down and everything, but like I never really felt like he transformed into the role. It never really felt like he made it his own. It just more feels like it's just Kurt Russell doing like an Elvis impression.
Yes.
And I'm just as much as we've joked about in the past of like Austin Butler like not breaking the
Hmm.
Elvis like role or whatever, like he's definitely much better in that role
Oh, yeah.
than this one.
Yeah, yeah. Austin, I mean, we joke about Austin Butler or whatnot, but he is good as Elvis. Like I will say he does a really good job. Yeah, and this is just like it's fine. Like I mean, it he does his job and he knew Elvis. He made a movie with Elvis. So I guess that's kind of a cool connection is that he was in a movie with Elvis. I think it started at the World's Fair. So Kurt
Mhm.
Russell did get to meet him. So I mean that's kind of cool to play someone that you actually met and then you get that big of a role. Um,
Yeah, it just I think a lot of it though has to do with the fact that we said before that this is like a very sanitized sanitized version of this movie where because I mean, like, here it shows like it made a really big deal about how much he loves his mom and like, "Oh, I'm a family man. I'm so nice and I love my
uh-huh.
mama and I miss Jesse Guerin so much and I bought my mama a Cadillac and oh, I'm so sad that mama's dead."
Hmm.
Which there is a funny scene too, like Elvis like gets beaten up like at like a show or something like that. He gets
Yeah.
beaten up at some point, and like his mom like wakes up in the middle of the night, and then Elvis calls her. It's like Elvis, I had this terrible dream that you got beaten up, and he's like, "Yeah, Mama, that did happen. You're right."
Yeah, it's
Like she just has
so
like this.
odd.
She gets like she just sees into the future. Like she could just see
Yeah.
everything happening.
Elvis and his mama have such a strong connection, and I was surprised just how much this movie focused on the both of them. It has him buying her the pink Cadillac. And I actually like because Elvis's manager was well, not his manager, but one of the people that helped him was his dad. The dad is like a side character. Like he doesn't get a lot of focus. I mean, they get a moment together at the funeral when his mom dies and kind of like, oh, is it okay to move on? And that's kind of Elvis's downfall is pinpointed by the death of his mom. That's kind of like his
Um,
spiral out.
by the way, I do want to mention his father in this movie is actually played by Kurt Russell's dad,
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Bing Russell.
Bing Russell, that's cool. Well, then that's like perfect. But yeah, I guess Bing Russell is his dad. And then what's the name of the guy who plays Colonel Tom Parker? I'm
Pat
forgetting.
Hingle.
Thank you. Pat Hingle plays Colonel Tom Parker, which also doesn't really have a role. They do not portray him very negatively at all. There's like maybe
No,
one part where he's like, "Oh, I got to be in a stupid movie." Tom Parker signed me up for it, but he doesn't really say it that part with negativity. He just hates the movies. So Tom Parker kind of gets swept to the side.
yeah, well, I mean, at a certain point, I'd like halfway into the movie, he's just gone. Like you don't
Yeah,
ever see him again,
yeah.
and he just plays like such like a nothing part. If you go back, like we've joked about it in the past before, but like Tom Hanks is just a
Oh,
questionable accent.
Elvis.
Elvis, Mr. Presley.
It's so weird. Oh my God. Yeah,
Yeah.
they do not do that accent in this movie. He is a Southern accented man.
Which I mean, I went back again and re-listened to like interviews with the Colonel, and he doesn't sound like either one of these two actors. But
No.
at least Pat Hingles is not doing like an outlandish character voice. But
Yeah, I don't know what's up with the Lerman Tom Hanks version.
so, but anyway, yeah, he's just totally like a nothing figure. I mean, like the whole movie. I mean, this is an Elvis movie. Like
It
he's the
is.
main character. Like this whatever other characters in there, they're just kind of in there for along the ride, and it's just
Mhm.
kind of reacting to the things that he does. And the just the movies are like totally tonally very different because in the Baz Luhrmann one, it's almost like portrayed that like Elvis wanted to go out and see the world, but he was prevented from doing that, and that kind of stifled him creatively.
Yeah.
and versus this one where it's just like, oh, like I work too much.
Yeah, my mom died. I got depressed. I worked too much, and I was getting the other people, nameless people, were stifling my creativity, taking it from me. Um,
Like,
and yeah, we do get to see a bit of his like downfall. Another weird one that pops up. He has like a posse, which is a bunch of people that were related to him or from Memphis, but he kind of he goes off on them and fires them all, and he gets like a brand new set of people that are his posse. One of them played by Joe Mantegna in one of his earliest roles. Actually, the only like he had been in like a few things on Wikipedia that have no hyperlink, but do you remember what movie? And we've covered it here on Drive and Double Feature. He was in before this in a small
oh,
part.
before this, because I was like, he was in that one movie. I can't think
Can't
of it right
remember.
now.
Towing. It was Towing.
Oh,
Yeah, remember
right.
he helped to write that movie, I believe.
Yeah, it was something weird like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like he had some work on it. But anyway, yeah, I just think that's funny. He just pops up here and it's a very, and once again, it's a nothing role. And I like how you put it. Elvis is the name of the movie. Elvis is the focus. Pretty much every scene is going to feature Elvis and kind of his go around. His early years are fine. He just sings and it's about his record deal. There's a part where like it really shows how loyal he is because
There's like a weird subplot with like that girl that he like goes out with that just gets like dropped at some point.
oh yeah, Bonnie. Bonnie's like
Yeah.
someone. He's like, I love you, but then he goes on tour and then she's gone. I
She
thought
found
that
she found a new bow,
yeah,
Elvis.
yeah. Did they even? So they didn't even have a scene where like they came back or it's like hey, we
It,
left Bonnie behind.
no, like his mom just like says to Elvis, it's like, well, you were gone for too long and she's got needs, so she's got a new boyfriend.
Okay, yeah, and that's how we get Priscilla into this. I wonder how that actually went. Um, yeah, I mean, it's weird. I don't think there's a lot for me to pick. I could talk about
Well,
this movie all day because there is a
I,
lot, but there's nothing I could really pick apart. Sorry.
well, the only thing I was just gonna say is I think the reason why that is because what would you say like somewhere between like 30 minutes to an hour of this movie is just musical performances.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, and I get why. I'm sure this was sold to ABC. This was a TV movie. This is an Elvis movie. We're going to have Elvis's greatest hits, and you're going to get to listen to those along with the story. I'm sure it was sold as like, get to see Elvis's music again. And yeah, about an hour of this is him in the studio recording a full song. There's a few times where he's on stage recording some songs. All of his popular songs are in this movie, like Blue Suede Shoes, some classic stuff.
Heartbreak Hotel.
Heartbreak Hotel pops up. So you do get like a medley of a bunch of different Elvis songs. So, and they're fine. They're fine. They're obviously not Kurt Russell live doing it. It's audio piped in. But I don't think it's Elvis's music. I want to say it's somebody else singing it. That'd actually be worth like checking out really quickly. Um, I forgot.
Yeah, it's that's just the thing. Like, there's some really good music in here, and I mean, if you're here for like, because you're a big Elvis head and you love Elvis music, I mean, it's gonna hit all those buttons that you're looking for.
Hmm.
Um, but in
Yeah,
terms of like the story and stuff, it's just it does take away from it because I mean, like of this 2 hour and 40 minute movie, like I said, I think like 30 minutes or something like that. It's just musical performances. So it's just it does kind of take away time we could have spent with them as characters.
I agree. And yeah, country singer Ronnie McDowell, he was the one who provided the vocals for all the music.
I was
And
wondering because I was like, okay, well, that's definitely not Kurt Russell singing, but that doesn't quite sound like Elvis
yeah,
either.
it's a pretty decent Elvis, but yeah, it doesn't quite sound like him. But yeah, so I think we get a bunch of that taken away. So in between, we kind of just get drama. So I just kind of want to maybe put a wrap on it and just say I was glad I watched this because I do think it was interesting to see such an early Elvis movie, like to see what they were doing just a few years after he died. But is it worth watching? Can I recommend it? I have to say no, just because I think it's just a little too bland. I don't think there's really much anything for me to go like. I can't go like, oh, Kurt Russell's really good. It's worth watching it for performance. Oh, the musical sections are good. I can't really pick anything out that makes it really worth going back to. It's not bad. It's just perfectly serviceable.
That's kind of how I feel. I don't. I mean, there's nothing like on a level. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean,
Hmm.
it's just I think it's a little too sanitized, like I said before, where it just we don't really see like the faults of Elvis as a person, other than it's like, oh, he works too hard, or he's just a little on edge because he really just wants to please the fans. It's just
Hmm.
that's not who he was, I don't think. Maybe like a small fraction, but he was a very flawed individual
Yeah.
uh that did do things that aren't the best and that make you feel a little more attached to him, or like or just adds like that extra layer to the performance where you can
Yeah.
appreciate the performance like that. So it kind of does take away from the whole thing.
Yeah. Which I
And
I just I think that's a really great point that you bring up, that following a flawed man is not a problem because then we're all flawed people. And I think that's what makes people like Elvis so attractive in terms of like popularity or why people like him. It's not because he was a clean cut, perfect person. People like him because he was a real person and he handled things wrong as we all do. And I think that's what makes biography movies really interesting. And when you sanitize that, it just feels disingenuous. So I like that you brought that up.
yeah, and I mean it does kind of show, and I even think like his trek is just kind of like all over the place. It more felt like it was dealing with like a lot of his relationships with the people
Hmm.
more rather than like his rise to fame, because there was like one scene where they're like Elvis is like, "Hey, you're gonna be in a movie," and I was like, "Oh man, a movie!" And it's just like he was already like it was just like, oh, he just reached superstardom. I'm like, wait, I was like, wait, when did that happen exactly? Like, I understand
Yeah.
he was getting popular, but I didn't realize he was like getting that popular where he was already
Yeah.
getting to star in movies.
Yeah, they didn't really display his popularity well. Like, like a classic like newspaper scene that shows like Elvis, blah 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 blah, or anything like that. It does focus on relationships, and I think in the wrong way. Like he has a friend. We didn't even touch upon him. The one dude that's his friend from the beginning of the
Red
high school. Yeah, Fred and
or red, the
Red, that's
color.
right. Duh. Red because he has red hair. But yeah, it's about they follow him really heavily. Kind of a boring character. He doesn't get invited to Priscilla's wedding, and he attacks Elvis on an at like a skate rink, and then he's just kind of like he's there a little bit. Like I don't know. Just you're focusing maybe on the wrong things.
He gets fired from the movie or from being in Elvis's crew, and then Elvis is like, and like some guy shows up, like, hey, where did all the guys go? He's like, ah, I fired him. It's like, well, go get him back. And then
Uh-huh.
he's just back in the crew, and that's just like, oh, like okay, like I guess
Yeah.
that that whole bit of melodrama is just over.
Yeah, it's
But
a
uh,
little silly.
uh, yeah, I would have liked a little more to the story, like I said, a little more downs, or like something a little more uh, um cohesive, or like something where we'd actually see like the rise to fame. And I don't know about you, but it does seem like this movie was a little low budget at times
Yeah, yeah, it seemed pretty cheap.
because it is a TV movie. Like there's a scene where Elvis was getting like greeted by fans and stuff,
Hmm.
but I think there was only like five people there. It's like people like, "Ah," like
Yes, yeah, there's multiple scenes like that, or like when at the beginning of the movie when he goes to the international hotel for his first like reunion, his tour back. There's just like a little sign, little paper sign that says like entrance on it. Like it's
yeah, even like the plaque for the building, it's just like International Hotel, and it's just like in big, it's like looks like this like big block letters.
Yeah, it's definitely like cheap, which is surprising. You think they would put a little bit of money in this, but it is a TV movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the actual production side of the movie, but I do know that Elvis's dad was actually involved in the filmmaking. I did read that one of the suits that Kurt Russell wears, like one of Elvis's jumpsuit, like towards the end of the movie, that was one of Elvis's actual
Oh
jumpsuits
wow.
that his father was there. So like I said, I don't know how John Carpenter would do with actually making like a traditional like biopic or anything like that. I don't know how that would go for him, but uh it feels like with this one and the last movie, it does kind of feel like maybe his hands were tied in a certain way, or like
Hmm.
there was, he had like the Elvis Presley people being like, don't do anything bad there. Like,
Hmm.
Elvis has to be in a positive light. And again, this is ABC, so this is like network television, which had much stricter guidelines back then. So just like I doubt they would ever show like Elvis doing drugs on
No,
TV or something. So for the time and the medium that they had it on, I guess I could see why they did it, but it doesn't make for a super interesting watch.
I agree. I agree. It definitely we see Carpenter at a weird point in his career. Definitely like fame has gone up to be noticed, so he gets picked for movies like this. I almost imagine it like David Lynch for Dune, where and he got invited to do Return of the Jedi, right? Like where someone's fame is rising, that they are getting chosen for projects that are a little outside of their norm, and then them kind of realizing, well, maybe this isn't what I want, and then we'll after this we kind of see that step back, but we also we do see a lot more Kurt Russell moving forward, and Season Hubley as well, who was married to Kurt Russell after this movie. um but yeah,
How
I'm
could you
gonna
not?
yeah, definitely, yeah,
Hmm.
Princess from Vice Squad. But I guess that wraps it up for this one. I'd say not recommend. I don't know. That sounded like what you were leaning towards.
Yeah, I would. It's not the worst thing, and like I said, if you're an Elvis fan, you probably have already seen it. But overall, if you're a newcomer, there's definitely better movies out there for biopics,
For sure.
even better Elvis movies.
Oh yeah, definitely. Go watch oh
Baz
God.
Luhrmann,
No, well, Baz Luhrmann. Well, no, I was thinking about like an actual like an
Harem
Elvis
Scarum,
movie. No, not Harem Scarum. Stop. King Creole. King Creole.
Kissing Cousins.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Kissing Cousins, my favorite Elvis movie. But no, I think that wraps it up for this one. But Ryan, what are we covering on Thursday?
Nathan, we're continuing the kaiju run with Godzilla. We are doing Godzilla Tokyo SOS, which is streaming on YouTube for free.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to watch that one. And if you want to email us, you can email us at driveanddoubleFeaturePodcast@gmail.com. If you're checking us out on YouTube, be sure to comment and subscribe over there. But until next time.
Until next time.